we're going to go right back into the interviews. Strikeforce and Bellator veteran Zach Underwood talks to John about his still blossoming MMA career and where he's headed next.
All right, here on the MMA Outsider Podcast, we are joined by Zach Underwood. He's coming off of a big win at the last Bellator event. He beat Chris Coggins. But first off, Zach, you train at Rufus Sport. You're one of the up-and-coming prospects there. Obviously, it's a very good established gym. But if you don't mind, we'll go back to the start. Before you got into MMA, do you have any wrestling or martial arts background?
None. I have none at all. I was in no martial arts or nothing, period. I just happened to get into it.
Right. So for someone like you kind of starting from scratch, what's it been like on, kind of going on this journey that's led to being a pro fighter?
What's it been like? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
It's been crazy, actually, because there's nothing I really planned on. It's just something that happened. I was going through tough times, and I went with my brother to a gym, and I fell in love with it. I guess it was like something else for me to do with my life, and now I'm doing it for a living, and me and my brother have our own gym down here in Memphis, so it's worked out pretty well. So now we're training fighters, and I'm training with them, and when I got a big fight come up, I go up there to Milwaukee. That's just how I do it.
Okay, cool. So, what's it like, I guess, trying to run a gym and keep your own career going? I assume there's probably pluses and minuses to trying to do both of those.
It's not really as hard when you have a brother like mine to work with, because he's a full-time fighter and matchmaker and promoter. He does it all, and I don't know how he does it. My brother Jake, and he's 4-0 as well as a pro, and but having him with me is just, I couldn't do it without him. He's the one, because when I go train, he focuses on the gym, and I focus on myself. So that's without him, I couldn't do none of it. So working as a team with my brother has really helped me out.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't mind talking about it, you mentioned going through some rough times before you got into mixed martial arts. What kind of stuff were you going through before you, found sports?
I just didn't know what to do with my life, and I was having a little heartbreak, and I just needed something to do. I was stuck in a small town. I wanted to get out, and I just happened to see some gloves in my brother, and we just went to the backyard and started boxing, and it went from yard to yard to a gym, and to another gym, and to our own gym, and then I met up with the elite guys and like Duke and them, so I started training with them, and that's pretty much how it's gone.
I'm sure you probably saw it on TV before you started. I guess what was it like, as far as any preconceived notions or ideas of how you thought it might be versus what it was like when you were actually training yourself?
I didn't know your cardio had to be that good.
Yeah.
That worked out a lot, and I rolled with like a little 15-year-old kid who I was weighed 100 pounds more than, and he locked in a guillotine on me. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I was like, what the hell was that? And I was just like, it's just how far I've come, I think, just telling you that. And it's just been an unexpected ride for me.
Right, and from when you turned pro to where you are now, you got about 14 or so pro fights under your belt. I mean, I guess at what point did you feel like you could make a pretty good run at this as far as trying to make it a career and move up the ranks?
It actually started when I just gave up everything for fighting. I mean, I said I was going pro. When I said I was going pro, I said I'm going to quit everything and just focus on this. And really, I had no business turning pro, because I really, I just wasn't ready. My fundamentals, and I had a gas tank, and I used to use that to wear people out, and I think my will allowed me to grind fights out. But, I think I've come a long way. Because when I first started fighting, I didn't know what guard was.
Yeah.
I would just survive. I didn't know what was going on. And now, I think I'm still a rookie in this. Even though I'm 28 years old, my body holds up good, and I still think I got a lot more learning to do. I still consider myself a kindergartner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just having the time of my life.
Right.
Going on this ride, fighting.
Yeah, and talk about the Tennessee, the local MMA scene, as far as working your way up there versus when you first started traveling around to fight. I guess how good do you think the local scene is out there right now?
The only thing that hurts the local scene and where I'm from is the wrestling part. There's a lot of guys around here who say they're wrestlers, but they never wrestled before. You have to train with a wrestler. You have to train with a wrestler to understand the game, and I learned that by just honestly. I fought a wrestler one time who was from Iowa in an amateur fight, and it opened my eyes up. And then you go up to Wisconsin, Minneapolis. It's just every fighter there is pretty much a wrestler. And I think that's what hurts this city around here, you know. But other than that, there's a bunch of tough guys around here. I mean, the guys, I mean, Southern guys, in my opinion, are really tough anyway. I mean, and, you know, there's a lot of tough guys coming up, and you have guys, you know, Rampage is from this area, but he has to train here, and, you know, you have guys in the South, in Mississippi, you have Alan Belcher down there with his own gym. And, you know, Tennessee, I think, is starting to come up now. My brother, one of the reasons I came back home was to build a gym in this South area, because there's really no elite gyms around here. I mean, my brother can do that, you know, along with my other friend Andy, and that's what we're trying to do around here.
And you talked about, you know, for your bigger fights, now you go up to Rufus Sport to kind of get ready. When did you start making the trek up there, and how did that whole relationship start?
Always been his fighters, and the way he fights, I mean, years before I even went up there. And after I had a tough fight one time, and I said to my brother, it's time for me to go away. I said, I'm not getting any better trainer out here, you know. And I always mentioned I wanted to go train up there years before it didn't happen. My brother got a connection, and somehow he managed to get a hold of Duke. I don't know how he was able to do that. And he gave me a phone call one night and said, hey, man, you got a plane ticket to Milwaukee in a couple of days. And my fight was 4 weeks away, and I was like, wow, I'm about to get my ass kicked the next 4 weeks up there. You know, you have world-class fighters. But I went up there, and they're all great guys, man. They're just really good, humble guys, you know. And they're just really tough, you know. And I'd rather train with a really tough bunch of guys than a bunch of skilled sissies. You know, technical sissies is what I call them. And they're skilled and they're tough. And that's why I like going up there. And Duke and all his coaches are, you know, they keep an eye on you. And, you know, they made me a lot better. Even though I lived up there for a year last year, and I moved back here, so I feel like I'm kind of behind. I'm still up there and train, but, you know, I learned so much just for the time I'm up there that I have to keep going back. Because I can drill what I'm slacking on up there back home. I mean, I just love it there.
Yeah, and obviously everyone knows they have some great kickboxing talent up there. It starts with Duke himself, and, you know, Eric Koch, Anthony Pettis, and the list goes on. But also, obviously, you know, Ben Askren helps out up there, and you mentioned, you know, learning the wrestling game. I got to imagine learning from him is a pretty special advantage to be able to have.
Yeah, man. I feel like I always say, you know, I feel like a professor teaching chemistry, and he's a chemistry teacher, and I'm like the kindergarten. I'm like, wow, I feel like sometimes I wonder how I want to fight in my wrestling. I'm so behind, you know. But usually I take people down and fight somehow. So obviously I'm okay. I don't think I'm good at it. I pull off takedowns and fight somehow. I don't know how, but he showed me one takedown before this previous fight that I actually used the second round of this fight, and you know, so that's why I like going up there as well. Like we drill so many times that we pick it up and don't even realize the move. I mean. Yeah, and you have Duke for striking, you have Ben for wrestling, you know. You have great jiu guys like Joseph Marino, Daniel Morales coming up there. I mean, where else would you want to train when you got all that, you know?
Yeah, and talking about your last fight, you know, obviously, first off, you got the chance to fight at a Bellator event, but secondly, let's talk about this first. You fought, like I said, Chris Coggins. That's a guy you fought, I believe it was your second pro fight, and he ended up getting the edge over you, but this time around, obviously, you beat him. You got the decision win. You know, what was it like getting to, I guess, not only avenge a previous loss, but also I got to imagine, you know, it probably showed you how far you've been able to come as far as, you know, beating someone that actually got the best of you earlier on.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, I know him personally. I was supposed to have to fight him, but he's a real tough guy, and I knew I was going to be in a war. And I remember the last time we fought, just how strong and how and another thing is he's just, like I said, tough. He's good. Great cardio. I mean, and knowing I had to fight him again was honestly awesome to me because he beat me before. And to me, it wasn't nothing against him, but to show how much all this hard work I put in is paying off. And I feel like it's just, you know, it's paying off because I beat him pretty much the same way he beat me last time, which was, you know, he's wrestled before, and he just, you know, wrestled me. This time I beat him the same way he beat me. So, you know. It's awesome to me, you know. You know, I avenged that loss, but, you know, at the same time, I'm not saying anything bad about Chris. You know, I like the guy, and it was a tough fight, you know, because he was not quitting. I had him down, and I was elbowing and punching him, but that dude wasn't quitting. You know, I want to say, hey, man, please stop. I'm ready to get my check go.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
he's a tough guy, and I'm glad I got that win.
Yeah, and like I said, the other aspect of it, of course, is when you fight it for an organization like Bellator that's at the national or really the worldwide level, and you're seeing the Bellator logo everywhere. There's TV cameras around and everything. So, what did it feel any different to you? Being, did you feel nervous or did you actually feel more amped up? But what was it like training?
I fought for Strikeforce the national before, man. I fought in the Bridgestone Arena, and I think having that experience has helped me out in these big venues, like seeing Bellator. It's still awesome seeing those things, knowing where I started. Like I said, it was from my backyard, but May of 2007 to 5 years later, sitting in a cage on Bellator, one of the premier organizations fighting on Bellator, and the same coach that started with me, my brother, is still in my corner. But you have guys like you have world-class striking coaches like Scott Cushman, and to have my buddy Jeremy Durnell in my corner, in a way, it kind of humbles me, makes me feel like I've got some ass in this sport, and it's just awesome to me.
Right.
I'll come that far.
Yeah, and lastly, I saw the press release. It seemed like you don't really have any, hard set goals in place. You're just kind of more. It seems like you're just taking whatever comes to you. That's what you'll do. But I mean, now that you've, like you said, you had the experience in Strikeforce, and now you got a win in Bellator also under your belt. I mean, I guess how do you feel like you're ready for that next step to maybe either become like a permanent Bellator guy trying to get in the tournament or UFC or whatever it is? I guess how close do you think and how ready do you think you are for an opportunity like that?
I see any opportunity thrown my way. If I'm healthy 100% and I get off a short notice fight, I'll fight anybody. It's my job. It's what I do. Right now my goals are in Bellator. I want to get in that tournament. That's what I want to do. I mean, in order to find out how good you are, you got to fight the best. So I'm willing to do that four-man tournament. I don't care. I'm here to fight the best, and this is my living. This is what I do. I don't fight chumps. It's something I try not to do. I want to fight the good, tough guys and fight the best. And right now, my goal is, of course, everybody wants to be in UFC. Right now, I'm with Bellator, and I just want to go as far as I can with it. Even like I said, the four-night tournament, winning that. That's my goal right now.
Right, definitely. Well, let me tell you, I really appreciate you doing the show. Before we wrap things up, feel free to thank anyone, sponsors, or whoever you'd like mentioned.
Yeah, I want to thank all my sponsors the last fight, and I want to thank all my teammates and training partners down here at Relentless and Vortex, Adventure Athletics, and also I want to thank Rufus Sport and all the guys up there, and my family, and of course my brother Jake. And other than that, man, I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.
No, like I said, it was our pleasure, and hopefully we'll have you on again in the future. But like I said, thanks a lot, and congrats on the big win.